Hey guys, Lucas from iExplore here. Today we're exploring Shimbashi at night, which is one of my favorite places to do street photography in Tokyo. With me I have a pretty cool lens. This is the Aurora 85 1.4 from Sirui, which they kindly sent to us for review. But before all that, I want to thank everybody who supports us on Patreon. We really appreciate that. If you'd like to come to Tokyo and take a workshop with us, that'd be even better. We'd really appreciate that too. And also, if you do come to Japan and you want some pointers on where to go and shoot, we do have a map of Tokyo photo spots with over 500 locations available on our website, so please check that out. And also, for me specifically, if you'd like to help me out, I do sell prints on my website, and I do have a book out called Tokyo Unseen, so all those links are in the description. Please check that out. And one last little announcement. We are starting to search for people in other cities and other countries to potentially do workshops for us through iExplore, like be kind of part of the I don't know, the group, the team. So if you have that in mind, please reach out to us. You can reach out to us with a comment below or on Instagram or something like that.
iExplore.
All right, so here we are with this 85mm lens. Now, before I talk about the lens, a few of you, maybe even only a very small few of you, but maybe some people are just thinking about it, but a few of you are worried that we're going to turn into a gear review channel. And I just want to make it clear, we're not a gear review channel. I do sometimes get cool gear from interesting brands, and I mean, they send it for free. Who am I to say no? They only ask for me to talk about it on the channel. And I only ever ask for stuff that I'm actually genuinely interested in trying. So for example, from Sirui, a few months ago, we got that anamorphic 35. I really always wanted to try an anamorphic lens, so I was like, sure, send it, we'll do a video about it. And I've been wanting to get an 85. I was thinking, man, I don't have an 85. I used to have one a long time ago, sold it, and I've been having a hankering for an 85. So when they said, hey, do you want to try out this 85? I said, yeah, send it along. I'm happy to do a video about it. But I think in all our videos, we do a good job of just, talking a little bit about the gear as necessary, but then doing the actual photography. So just put those fears to rest. We're not going to become a gear-heavy channel, although sometimes we do talk about the gear, because photography is also about the gear. Yeah, I mean, it's just briefly about the lens. Having said all that, I do want to give you at least a little overview of the lens. So, first of all, what I like is it's made of aluminum, which they kind of proudly advertise on the box and stuff. And I like that. It feels really good. Even the rings are aluminum. It has an aperture ring, which can be clicky or not clicky. That's up to you with this little switch. I don't use it because I have it set to auto, and then I use the dials. And then on the other side, there's an autofocus and manual focus switch, which I don't use. I just leave it on auto. And there's this, I guess, it says auto focus lock button. It might even be customizable because the Z-mount lenses have that. I never use that either. So the body of the lens for me is just not that important. But for some people, this might be very useful. And by the way, turning the clicks off is for video. So yeah. But let's get on to actually shooting with it, okay? Because that's what really matters. So I'm gonna go over there into this area. I love this neighborhood. We're gonna shoot some stuff around here. I'm set to my usual settings these days, which is a 500th of a second shutter speed, auto ISO, and because it's a 1.4 lens, I'm on 1.4, because why not? Let's do it wide open. And over here, there's this cafe, and I love photographing the people inside the cafe because there is such an awesome mood. And we've shot this before on this channel. I'm sure some of you will remember me photographing here before, but I thought it's a nice way to showcase this awesome lens, this neighborhood. And also, I just love this cafe. I have endless photos of it. Nice. Now that's a nice testament to the accuracy of the AF of this camera and lens combo. So yeah. So the most important question anybody has about a lens is just like, well, is it sharp? Is it sharp? How's the quality? How's it focused? That kind of thing. And yeah, it's a very sharp lens. I'm not a pixel peeper, like super interested in like how sharp it is corner to corner. I think the corners are somewhat soft, but like I don't care. I'm not shooting things that require perfect edge-to-edge sharpness. I'm gonna go in this little passage here. But having said that, I did shoot some architectural stuff with it, and it was good. It was fine. Probably not the best choice for that kind of photography. I would rather use like a Nikon, like a 24 to 120 f4. That's a super sharp lens, corner to corner, more versatile for something like architecture. But nobody uses a lens like this for architecture. So yeah. So with a lens like this, whether it's this 85 or some other 85, what I'm looking for is things that are a little bit farther away. I'm definitely looking for more layers. I'm trying to shoot through stuff, like into shops or through windows or whatever, because then I want to have like obstructions between me and the subject, because that adds a nice kind of atmosphere or element of intrigue, right? Let's go over here. Oh, actually, this is pretty cool. This like super tattered, what do you call that thing? Curtain. But in a second, I'm going to try shooting through it. and see what I could achieve there. I just want to get it, all of it for now, because it just looks so cool. The way it's ripped apart and tattered and stuff. Maybe through this position here. But this is a good example of what I'm saying, right? I'm shooting through the curtain, through the window. It wasn't like an amazing decisive moment, but I mean, I got something at least illustrative of how I would use this lens. So far with this lens, I've shot like, I don't know, 4 or 5 days or so, something like that, 4 or 5 nights out, a couple of workshops, a couple of just times on my own. And from the photos I've looked through so far, none of them were I thinking like, ooh, that's a little bit not sharp enough or something like that. Like it's a nicely tech sharp lens, especially, around the center when where the subject's most likely going to be. So in terms of like the quality and the performance, I'm happy. And I always say one of my concerns with third-party lenses for the Z mount, especially the AF lenses, is how is the autofocus going to work with the camera? Is it going to autofocus well or not? And this one is great. The AF is fast, snappy, accurate, just like I demonstrated earlier at that cafe. Let me see here. This place is let's go that way. Let's go over there. I was going to try to shoot into this little sushi shop, but it's too closed off. Yeah, it's kind of quiet out here because it's a Monday. Ooh, let me get a nice shot of these bottles. They look cool. It's not the most impressive, important shot, but it's a good example for you guys of the, of the performance of the lens, in case you're curious. Okay, so I did that on f1.4 and f2.8, just to kind of show you guys the relative sharpness there. I'm not going to go through like all the apertures and stuff because again, I don't think it matters so much. For me, it's just more like, is a lens capable to, keep up with what I'm doing and like produce images that I'm happy with? Yes or no. It's a pretty binary thing. And this one, totally yes. And then it's just a matter of cost. I mean, in this case, of course, I received this lens for free. Okay, so I didn't have to pay anything. But like if I was going to buy it, is it a good performance for the cost? And being like, I think it's like $200 cheaper than the Nikon f1.8, 85. So, you get a little more aperture, 2/3 of a stop more, I believe it is, 1.4 versus 1.8. But then, there are other options out there that could be even a better deal. So that's up to you if the cost performance, where it is. And that's pretty much the end of my review. As I always say, like, it's not much more to say. From here on, we're just going to cruise around, we're going to explore, and we're going to shoot with this lens. Let's go over here and see if we can produce some cool images with an 85mm lens with a huge aperture. One thing that I also like to do, because the aperture is big, is if I focus on, like, say, these plastic tarps, which are not really, in play right now at this place, but you can get these kind of abstract shots of people behind them, which I really like. Or wait, here we go. Maybe there's this cafe here, and I like the way the people are behind these like lines, but they have their backs to us. But then there's that lady over there. No, it's not gonna work. She's too far. So it's gonna be too blurry, even at a smaller aperture. Maybe this is okay. All right, not my best example of this, but I do like it, and I like it conceptually. And before you guys, I mean, you're seeing the photos on the screen. I know it looks really like intrusive what I'm doing, but they're not even really in the photo. It's just abstract. Like, maybe it's a little bit annoying. Nobody noticed me, by the way. But if they did, it's not like it's a, end of the world kind of way of photographing people. Maintaining their privacy, I think, pretty well. So, but I do feel a little weird when like someone's sitting right there and I'm literally inches away on the other side of the glass. But like they're not really in the photo, like they are, but they're just there as like kind of an abstract element. Let's go on this street here. And so yeah, with long lenses like this, and again, with big apertures especially, just want to emphasize, I lean towards the abstract. I will sometimes shoot just like kind of a street portrait of somebody if I see somebody cool. But generally for those kind of things, I like to be closer. So I like to use my 28 or my 35, and then I'll do like a street portrait like fairly close, like that gentleman right there. Like maybe that could have been a photo, but I was way too close for this lens, and I would have preferred to do it that way with a wider lens. But let's see, because I have to be all the way back here. when it goes back across the vending machine, there's water dripping on me here. I hope it's water. Hope it's not pigeon pee. Let's see here. When he goes back across the vending machine, maybe I can get a little silhouette of him with all those vending machine drinks. That might look kind of cool. Maybe even from here. Yeah, but here the light is not that great. It's just kind of dingy. Not too shabby. And again, another example of the autofocus performance of the lens, because I mean, you know, I was distracted by the water dripping on me. I brought it up, I focused and shot it all in, you know, one quick moment. I actually took 3 shots. The first one was absolutely perfectly sharp. So there we go. I mean, that's a nice example of the performance of the gear. You know, which, you know, I always say it's like when I talk about the gear, it's only when it matters, when it's relevant to the photo. If I wasn't doing a photo that required speed, then it wouldn't matter. But in that case, I did want to have a nice fast AF. I mean, I guess I could have done that with zone focus too. So you don't need a fast focusing lens, but it certainly makes things easier. Yeah, I've mentioned this on a few workshops recently. I've also mentioned it in videos before, I'm sure. But there's this well-known French photographer, very respected, you know, from the good old days, from the Henri Cartier-Bresson days. His name is Robert Doisneau. And he has this quote, which, again, I've said this before, but I'm repeating myself, but I like the quote. And it is, you know, to describe is to destroy and to suggest is to create. So it emphasizes what I'm saying, that I like to shoot these little bit more abstract shots that kind of suggest things rather than a more literal, direct shot of people where then, you know, it, by being overly descriptive, it kind of destroys the mood, which is why I'm not going so much for like street portraits, even though this lens is totally conducive for it. But if I see somebody where it works, I will shoot such a shot, right? These guys here, no, yeah, the angle's wrong. There's this truck coming. Maybe I can get the truck driver. But you see, this is, I guess, what I mean about that quote. It's not, to me, it's not a very interesting photo because it's just a truck driver, and that's it. Yeah, but here, maybe I can get this lady through all these things. No, but it's a little too many obstructions. Yeah, it's not gonna work, but let's keep going. This beautiful pink tarp. I mean, wow. It's funny how the camera doesn't even know where exactly to focus. Because there's so many little folds and details in it. I'm gonna go to f4 for this. There we go. I love it. Very abstract. Ooh, very nice. So here in this park, there's this smoking area over there. And then on the other side of it, there's this bright, like colorful LED sign for some bar. And that was installed like fairly recently, like a year or two ago. And before then it was just dark here, and now there's this light, and all of a sudden there's these beautiful, colorful silhouettes. So I want to shoot that. And one thing that I like about, say, like an 85, a bit of a, you know, it's kind of a telephoto. Is that the telephoto? I guess, where's the cutoff? 70? To me, 70 is where telephoto starts. But when you're using a telephoto lens, it allows you to stand farther back, which gives you a slightly different perspective than you would get. Well, not just slightly, I mean, it gives you a different perspective than you would get if you were up close, right? And I think that's important because sometimes, especially things like this, look better from farther away. And I happen to know from trying many times that when you go up close, the shadows are not as defined. Because there's something about how this diffuse glass focuses that LED light that's in the background, right? And if you get too close, you don't quite see the colors the same way, the shadows the same way. When I've come here before and I had like a 28 or something, I was like, man, I wish I had something longer, like say a 50, or in this case an 85, because it affords me a perspective that I could not have otherwise. Yeah, and that's one thing that, you know, I've talked about that on this channel, but it's still kind of like, controversial is the wrong word, but confuses people. Because we say that lenses don't change perspective, which is true. If you don't move and you change different focal lengths, you zoom in or out or change lenses, the perspective doesn't change. You're just cropping in and out. Correct. However, it's not that simple really, right? Because sure, I can stand all the way back here and shoot the scene with my 24 millimeter, but I'm gonna get a lot of crap around that I don't wanna see. I wanna just see that middle part, but I wanna see it from here, which means I have to use a long lens. So long lenses by themselves don't change perspective, but they allow you to use a different perspective, right? So in this case, I'm using a distant perspective for the subject because it works better. Very nice. There we go. Now I'm just gonna watch him for a little while to make sure I get a good decisive moment. Although I think I already got one, but you know, just to be sure. Step back a little more. I was getting exactly the framing I want, but I think it's better, just in case I have to straighten this photo or something, to shoot it a little bit wider than I need. Then I could always crop it a little bit, but I couldn't uncrop it if I was too close. I want to get a nice clear view of him dragging that cigarette. Come on, buddy. No, it's too low, but maybe what if I get lower? But he seems to be done. He just walked away. That's it, that's the moment. Oh well. Moment's end. Oh, there's this lady here. Oh, nice. Okay, let's keep going. So yeah, I went back to 500th and f1.4 for my settings. Somebody questioned that in a recent video on a comment in a nice way. There was no like argument, but they were like, why do you need that speed? I just want to emphasize that the reason I keep it set on 500th like all the time is that I want to be ready to capture something moving fast just in case. For many of the shots I did tonight, I was lowering the shutter speed down from there because I don't need that speed for like the blurry people behind the window. But in the event that something fast is happening in front of me, like somebody cool appears and I just want to shoot that moment, like, you know, at a moment's notice, well then I need a fast shutter speed, right? And because the moment I'm describing is something that happens suddenly and quickly, I don't have time to dial in settings. I just want the settings to already be correct. So just kind of by default, I keep it on a 500th. And only when I don't need a 500th, then I'll switch away from it. And then I'll switch back again, you know, when I walk away so that I'm ready for that kind of fast moment again. Ooh, here's kind of a scene with this plastic tarp and then those guys in the back. Of course, if I focus on the tarp, I don't see anything back there. But if I make my aperture really big, because it's bright in there, but I think I got something there. Basically, I focused on the tarp and then I put it on f8 and a very slow shutter so that I could have the tarp in focus, but also the guys in the background moderately visible, because on 1.4 you can't see anything. Okay, back to the standard settings to be safe. Ooh, there's a guy cooking in there with a lot of smoke. Now this is where 1.4 shines, because it's dark. I need that fast shutter speed because he's moving around. And then also I want to blur out the foreground because I don't want to really see it. I can't zoom all the way in there. I can only zoom somewhat, or zoom, there's no zoom, but you know what I mean. I get a framing that's fairly tight, but I still see the people in the foreground. But you know, they're just blurs. And there's like a moment where he's sometimes in this bit of light that's just right. Oh yeah, I got a couple. Definitely got some decent ones there. I'll do this as a video too. That was cool. I was hoping he would like emerge from the smoke, but actually he just like dodged around it. It's kind of weird. Weird, but cool. Okay, let's not go in there because just looks mixed up. I've been in there too many times. Let's go this way. Okay, but that was nice. The guy with the smoke, both as photos and videos, that was nice. And that was a good showcase of why I use a big aperture. Why is that good? Well, you know, because it's dark in there, as I said, and I want to be able to blur out the foreground. And then it allowed me to shoot at a 500th of a second without having the ISO be too crazy high. In fact, out of curiosity, what was the ISO? 1600, 1400, around thereabouts. Very, very reasonable. You know, up to 6400 is fine for me, but the lower the better, right? This guy posing. Arigato. All right, cool. Let's go this way. Ooh, great, 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 great. Let's go in here. Here we go, I like it. We got this guy in there with the lamp. It's a little lonely single individual drinking in there. The atmosphere is not that great because the light is very flat. It's just like, it's all bright. I prefer where there's contrast. I like lights and darks, you know, patches of lightness or brightness, whatever, light and darkness, right? When there's contrast, it's good. Get a nice shot of these lamps here, very atmospheric, f2. Just gotta lean back, it's a little, honestly a little close for 85, but whatever. Okay. Yeah, it's a little tedious maybe going back and forth on my settings. Slow shutter, fast shutter, slow shutter, fast shutter. But it's worth it. Oh, here we go. We got a guy going through. That might be, you know, simple but cool shot from this distance. But he never walked into any patches of light, sadly. I was hoping there'd be a moment where he's better illuminated. But it is what it is. That's how it is in street photography. You can't control anything, really. So you just go with the flow. Okay. Ooh, there might be a shot over here. That kind of works. No, the lamps are too high, I think. Kind of a cool abstract shot. Needs a little cropping from here. I'm gonna try to get a little closer. I know I'm in everybody's way, but it's okay, they'll survive. I mean, the mood is fantastic. There isn't like a good, great subject, but I do like the mood. I like that big globe of a light at the top, and then all the other lights kind of receding. There we go, that could have been an example of a shot, you know, shot off the cuff, kind of in the moment, and it required a fast shutter. Probably could have even gone even faster than 500 for that one. Well, I like the view of the train from down here. Are there any people that stand out? Not really. Oh, maybe this guy here, he's kind of, there we go. I'm shooting this at an angle because it's not actually really level anyway. Well, I got somebody, that guy was kind of cool, sort of a character. I think he actually looked at me in one of the photos. All right guys, so there you have it, little tour of the Shimbashi area. I don't know what I got, but we'll see when I get home. But as always, I think it's pretty good. Also, give you guys a little, tour or review or preview or whatever of this Sirui lens. I quite like it. It's going to stay in my bag for a while. If you're interested in it, please check the link in the description and the pinned comment below. There is a referral link. If you use it, great. If you don't, no worries. I just hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll catch you guys in the next one. And as always, challenge your eye. Oh, you're still here. Well, thank you so much for watching all the way to the end of the video. That really helps us out, with the algorithm. But since you're here, I want to remind you guys the different ways you can support this channel. The best one being coming to Tokyo or Kyoto and taking a workshop with us, or me or one of the other guys on the team. That's a huge help. Of course, we have some other things that we offer. For example, you can purchase a map of Tokyo photo spots. Currently, there are over 500 locations on the map, useful for planning your trip in Tokyo or exploring the city. Also, I do have a book out called Tokyo Unseen, so please check that out. And I do sell prints, so if you'd like one of my photos as a print, check that out as well. But last but not least, there is Patreon. Those of you who support us on Patreon, we're extremely grateful, and anybody who's thinking about it, we'd really appreciate that. That is another way to get access to the photo spot map. All right. And last little tiny thing, there are referral links to all the gear and stuff that we use in the videos, so just clicking on those links helps us out as well. And of course, all the other things I mentioned are also linked in the description. All right, so thank you guys so much for watching to the end, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.